I was told my back would never heal. I've battled with low confidence my entire life. And I've never felt happy looking in the mirror. Fast forward to today, and my back has completely healed. I'm now confident as a person, and now my body looks, functions, and feels better than ever before. It's time to learn how to overcome physical and mental barriers, how to build a sustainable lifestyle, and build a body that looks, feels, and functions the way you've always desired. You're listening to the Redesign Your Body Show with Jake. Hey redesigners, welcome to another episode of the Redesign Your Body podcast with your host. I'm Jake Pearson, and I'd just like to thank you for coming back to the show. Thanks for listening to this episode in advance. Let's get right into it. So today's topic is, do you want to change? I want to know though, why do I see so many people talking about their health and fitness goals, but their actions don't line up with their goals? Now, if you set yourself some amazing personal goals and you have that strong reason to change, you have that deep emotional connection to a reason for why you need to do something, that's great. And if you're one of those people who is just setting their goals and you haven't gotten too deep with finding that emotion and asking yourself, why do you need to change? That's great. You'll get there. Now, I see a lot of people online, in the online space, social media, talking about their health and fitness goals, yet they're struggling. I talk to a lot of people in general who are struggling. And when I get to start to ask them about their lifestyle and get talking, I find that, okay, their actions and their day-to-day routines and their lifestyle doesn't line up with what they want to achieve. That is called deliberately self-sabotaging your chances at success. So here's a clear example of self-sabotage. This comes from my own journey. For when I was at the stage where I needed to improve my body beyond what I had so far, back in around 2018, if I wanted to get leaner, more muscular definition, and build more muscle, I'd have to start taking control of this one bad habit that I had. Now, what was that one bad habit? This habit was so horrible that it was diminishing pretty much anything that I was doing during the week. It was the weekends and what I did on my weekends. I needed to have a plan for my weekends because I was just binging alcohol socially. Sometimes Friday, Saturday, recovery Sunday, sometimes one day, but absolutely getting smashed. I was about 20, 21. That habit was very unbecoming in a lot of ways, but it was just halting my progress. I needed to have a plan for my weekends because what I was currently doing was preparing food Monday to Friday and just eating whatever the bloody hell that I wanted to on weekends because I felt like 5 days would balance out the 2 days. And to that point, look, 5 days of, decent training of 3 days a week and good nutrition, it got me a good result. But it wasn't the result that I really wanted, that amazing transformation to the point where my confidence was overhauled and I was chronic pain free. I didn't have that at that point. I was doing a lot of damage to myself. That alcohol that I was binging, 21 to 30 standard drinks, I reckon, was catabolizing the muscle and it impaired my muscle recovery, but it was also catabolizing my bank account, but we won't go into that, The damage that I was doing to myself was ridiculous. Due to the alcohol, I also had an increase of food intake, which drastically, due to the alcohol munchies, was just going up and I was smashing whatever the hell I wanted. Anything in sight. But in all honesty, I always craved Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC. Oh. So, all of those extra calories that I'd fed into my body would put me well over the natural calorie, deficit that I had created throughout the week just with my steady normal routine of good proteins, good foods, veggies and everything that I'd built up at that point. That natural deficit was just getting smashed with extra calories. So all the alcohol on top of that as well, all those dead calories that were just compounding, piling on. So basically, it took me the whole week just to get back to that point of the normal. And then I'd go and do it all again the next weekend. So I'd hit a plateau, I'd hit a wall. Now, at the time, I didn't know any better. I thought I could get away with 5 days on and 2 days off and get the body of my dreams. But what I didn't realize until later in my journey was that I was relying on alcohol too much as a social way of having fun. These days, I reserve the drinking for special occasions, and it's really got a lot more scarce in my lifestyle. It's honestly like once a month. I'd be just a handful of drinks, or there'd be a party or a social event with friends from high school I haven't caught up with, or just, whoever. And I'll go enjoy myself. I will not destroy myself beyond the point of repair. Like, I can't do that. Like, I'm not conditioned to what I was in my 20s. And honestly, now that I think about it, I don't know how I managed that week in, week out, because if I do it now, it just, oh my God, I feel so shit for like 2-3 days. Now, back then, in my own mind, when I was living for the weekend, I had this idea that there was a social pressure to having to drink and eat like that all the time. Like, it was my age. Go out and drink. Oh, you're 20, 21. You should be doing this, and you shouldn't be inside on weekends. And, all of that shit that people say to you when you're young. Oh, you shouldn't be at home. You should be out partying and having a good time. And believe me, that was hard. And I understand that that's normal, especially in Australia. I know pretty much everyone at 20, 18 to 23, 25 are always out, having a good time getting drunk. There are a lot of people, a lot of uni students do that. A lot of it's just normal. It's the normal. So when I tried to break that, my friends found it odd. They were like, what are you doing? I started drinking a lot less at parties. When I went out, I started drinking less. Or I didn't drink. I drove and went, whoa, you're not drinking? Why are you drinking a coffee? How many drinks you had? No, you have none. What the hell, man? What's wrong with you? And then all of a sudden, I'd be less fun. I'd bring my own my own food, because I was trying to keep some consistency on weekends and not just scorch out on the pizza provided or sweets and stuff. Yeah, I did that because I finally started to prioritize my health, and I knew that if that was the next step I needed to take, I had to start making my weekends a part of my lifestyle that was supporting my health and fitness goals. I am fun at parties, by the way, so don't get nippy at me, because I have a lot of fun at parties when I have fun. The point is, you can have fun without drinking and getting blind. You can have a couple of drinks, but I don't have to drink to do it anymore, and I'm very proud of being able to get to that point. It was a really bad habit, and I'm glad to be able to get over that now. Now, I did get, the old, why are you doing that? At first, I did have resistance. My response was simple. I'm not drinking because I can enjoy myself without it, and I want to take care of my health a little bit more. At first, people just, laughed at me and, oh, you're better than us, huh, blah, blah. Let's push that to now. The contrast is I get people saying, I respect that. It's impressive with what you've done and how you're prioritizing your health. I wish I could do that. And that's the truth. It took time, but the resistance faded away. And I think I would like to be able to sort of say that I can sort of set that standard that if I can do it for someone who used to party every weekend, the people around me can see that they don't have to conform to that too. And it's cool to be able to lead by example like that. But when eventually my friends came around, they came to love the food that I whipped out. And this really interesting thing happened. So, because I brought a lot of container meals to parties, someone would be like a bookie, and then they'd start having a wager. I wonder how many meals Pearson's going to bring to the party. Someone was at 7, 3, 5, and that was hilarious. I don't know if the cash ever changed hands, but if it does, where's my cut? guys. Where's my percentage, all right? But the point to all of that story, apologize for rambling on, but my actions, they did not align with what I wanted to achieve because of the environment that I was in. I lacked the confidence to stand up and take the criticism in front of my peers to say that I wasn't conforming to that sort of lifestyle as often. Because that is the normal, and it's hard to break the normal. It's hard to break bad habits, and it's hard to break bad routines. But you've got to keep trying, and you've got to push back against that system, push against that normal to create your own normal, to create your own rule. And once I started to get that recognition that, oh, he's doing his thing, we're cool with it, I slowly took control over those 2 days. You know, I was able to prioritize my weekends, or I didn't go out as much. I enjoyed myself at home more, or I enjoyed myself without going out and splurging on bunch of junk food and binging alcohol. Hey, and then my body started to change again because I was slowly taking control over the worst habit that I had at the time, that self-sabotage. But for the longest time, I kept telling my coach, I'm comfortable how I am during this period of binging alcohol. And he'd say, well, if you're happy, I'm happy as well. That's good. And to be honest, I wasn't happy. I just didn't arrive at the answer to the problem that I needed to push back against the system, you know, and create my rule and reason to prioritize my health on the weekends. And that didn't really happen until mid-2018 and shifted all into 2019, okay? So, not now getting over that example of self-sabotage and my worst habit being the alcohol on the weekends, let's talk about if you are one of those people who may be limiting themselves, or if you're one of those people who is doing some self-sabotage to yourself. What can you do? Firstly, I think it's great to think about where you want to be 6 to 12 months from now. Even 2 years. 5 years, if you can plan that far ahead, that's freaking awesome. Now, what is the outcome that you want to achieve? If you could think of your worst habit or a moment that clearly sticks out as self-sabotage in your weekly routine, what could you do to change it? If it's food-based, maybe you're creating the wrong environment at home, work and socially. It could be that you're trying to diet rather than create a lifestyle. If it's exercise-based, are you trying to do too much? Are you putting off training entirely? Are you overtraining? You know, are you undertraining? Are you doing nothing? If it's mindset-based and you're having a lot of negative thoughts and anxiety and you're telling yourself that you can't do it, how can you recognize that that's a negative thought? And how can you try and spin that positive and negative into a positive? It won't happen all at once, but if you can start to catch yourself on it, it might be something that you can slowly turn in your favor with time. Now, I honestly know it's not easy as, you know, switching off that bad habit or spinning things into a positive. Changing is bloody hard. Just having the understanding of what your worst habit is, though, or what you're doing to sabotage your success is a great first step. Being conscious and present in the moment will allow you to make that informed decision. And if you're catching yourself out to sabotage your results or future progress, you're about to catch yourself doing this. Here's what I want you to do. Take a deep breath. And then another one. But it also comes with planning. So if you start to catch yourself out, you can start to look at patterns and routines and habits that are falling into place. And with that, then you can plan in advance for the next time. So catching yourself out will make it easier over time. But I want to ask you, and I want you to ask yourself this: do I want or do I need this when it comes to something that's going to
derail you or prevent you from progressing? Are your actions, your habits, is your lifestyle, is your attitude towards your goals that you've set yourself? Are they aligning with what you want to achieve in the next 6 to 12 months? Now, what is the vision for the best version of you? What is your best version of you? Do you have that vision? Have you ever thought about that? If you have it, what do you see yourself doing on your day-to-day basis as that best version of you? I want to hear it. What's stopping you from starting that now? Those day-to-day routines that you have, what's stopping you from starting that now instead of waiting 2 to 3 years to become that person? Because in reality, you're the one that needs to do the work, right? It's not someone else. It's your goal, and if it's important to you, it's time to start lining up your actions with what you want to achieve. But I'm going to leave you with this. If you are happy where you are, keep doing what you're doing. I'm happy for you too. But if you're someone who wants to change, and you really want to change desperately, or you think you want to change desperately, or you think you want to change, and you're trying to, or you're telling yourself you're trying to, but your actions really aren't lining up with what you want to achieve, what are you going to do about it? Thank you for listening to this detailed insight on do you want to change, and if you have any questions, please reach out to me. We'll talk to you very soon.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Redesign Your Body podcast. If you're looking for more daily support and inspiration, you can join our community Facebook support group. Just head over to our website at redesignpodcast.com/podcast. Jake, signing off.